Welcome to the Ignite Your Life podcast. Here we interview successful people who are living a life filled with adventure, excitement and fun. Learn where they're being, explore where they are going. See what gets them out of bed in the morning. Find out what drives them. We will go through their lowest points and we will look at the opportunities and possibilities that are now presenting to them. Come on a journey of ignition. I'm your host, Leanne Blaney. For more information, go to ignitepodcast.com. Let's ignite. Themis Thomas lives purposefully by loving herself and others deeply and unconditionally in every moment, and her vision for the ripples of this intimate, connected space we hold to vibrate love via truth and freedom throughout the entire universe. Hi Themi, welcome to the Ignite Your Life podcast.
Thank you, Leanne. It's great to be here. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, you're welcome to be on the show. I'm really excited to share your story. So shall we get started?
Sure.
Oh, excellent.
I'm ready.
Wonderful. That's all I like to hear. So do you want to tell us a bit about where you are now? What's actually happening for you right now?
Right now, I'm in Greece, a lovely part of the world. It's a favourite part of my world, and it's part of my ancestry. My parents are Greek-born, so I'm an Australian Greek person, woman. So that's where I am now. I'm attempting to live intuitively and freely in Greece.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you do?
That's a real great question, that do question, because it's been a period of my life where I've really entered into the being. What does it mean to be a human being? And it was a challenge at first because I have a corporate banking history, and then I did switch careers as I changed, and I trained and worked for a 10-year period in counselling and psychotherapy. So I'm trained as a relational transactional analyst. So coming to Greece and settling into my being was a real challenge, and it was a really rewarding challenge. So the last 6 or 7 years, I haven't actually done official work. I've written poetry and I published a little poetry book, and I've done a lot of being things and got creative around who I am now. So what is it that I offer now that creates the magic in my connections with people? It's not quite psychotherapeutic work. It's kind of morphed, and that's where I'm at right now, creatively forming or manifesting what that looks like and how it can live me, how I can give my talents and my gifts and live a rich and rewarding life from that. So.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Lovely.
Thanks.
Do you want to tell us a bit about your story then? Where have you been to get to this point?
Is it nice to say to hell and back? Look, it's an interesting story. I do have a history of child sexual abuse. So that was a roller coaster ride of trauma, obviously, and healing from trauma, and still healing from trauma. I think that it's been a real journey. So that led me to a very disengaged personally life. So I was highly intelligent, highly productive, seemingly productive, very successful, a bit of a high-flying corporate banking, so that was how I established, I suppose, a sense of confidence or initial ego based on a trauma response, based on being a traumatized person. So then I discovered counseling and therapy, psychotherapy, and it kind of gave me back a will to live and a happiness or a life. It gave me back my life in my hands, and that's how the journey started to deepen for me. And I went, actually, yeah, it feels like hell, and yet there's a possibility to experience heaven on earth, not only if I die or when I die, which I used to actually think about quite a lot, unfortunately, in the past. So literally been to hell and back. And it's a miracle to be here and be looking forward to the future and be inspired by other people and by people's journeys. And the biggest thing I think that's brought me here is the awareness that I came to. I suppose it's always been growing inside, but it kind of came with a boom in terms of some seminars that I went to quite by accident in 2010. It was like, oh, we can live heaven on earth. We can experience it here. There's a different way to look at life, and there's a different way to look at trauma as almost training for our purpose. And that was a big one, because I thought, how can all that pain actually serve others? Thought it hadn't served me. How's it going to serve other people? And that was the beginning of a real deeper connection with myself and going, okay, so if all that was training for my life purpose, the reason I was born, I wasn't born to experience that pain. I was born for something greater than me. How is it going to flow through me? How is it going to come out and be of service to the universe, to other people and to humanity?
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there a tipping point for change, though? Like you said, you went to counselling and that, but was there an actual tipping point when things did start to change?
Yeah, I'd probably say it was the morning I got up to go to work, my beautiful corporate job, well-paying, etc. Got up, left my room to go into the shower, and don't know what happened in between, but my husband at the time, my then husband, came home and found sitting by the phone where I had the presence of mind to ring work and let them know I wasn't going to go. Forever the good girl, and I had an emotional and mental collapse. And the very next day, my darling husband, I mean, he didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I hadn't even become aware of self-awareness at the time. I was literally just living the survival. It's just what you do. This is what you do. So I hadn't become aware or self-aware at the time, and we didn't know how to handle it. But the very next day, after my mental breakdown and emotional breakdown, he fearfully came back from work to make sure that I was going to go to work and that I wouldn't lose my job, because we were in that. It was fearful to him. It was a survival thing. So I think that was the tipping point. It was where it just didn't gel. Like, I was not okay, but I made myself okay for me, and so my partner wouldn't get further scared with what was happening. And it started to dawn on me that there's got to be more. There's got to be something better, better feeling in life. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was probably just under 20 years ago, probably about 19 years ago that happened.
Okay, so along the way, have you had more lightning bolts as points of change, or were they like the slow rumbles that crept up on you and then you made change?
Yeah, they're slow rumbles. Through the whole process, through the whole therapy process, I even training as a psychotherapist, I always called myself a pacer. I always just felt a bit behind I don't know, not comparison, maybe it was just behind the speed of life. Like people, I thought it's so easy for them. They picked that up quickly. No, I had to kind of chew it and experience it, and sometimes months later I would go, oh, that's what that meant. So it's been definitely, for me, life has been a slow, and recently, as I've integrated so much more all these life lessons and learnings, etc., and awarenesses, it has sped up. So that's been the recent challenge, to keep up with my own manifestations or my own dream creations, like keep up with them. Don't go back to that paced, but then definitely be paced if it's true to me in that moment and I'm feeling pulled rather than inspired. Yeah. It's definitely been a slow one for me. Yeah, I'm a pacer.
So when you've started making all the changes and had that self-awareness come in and you've been to, you said you went to a few sort of workshops or seminars and things, have you had challenges that have made you feel like throwing in the towel with this new life of yours?
Absolutely. The biggest challenge was is money. It was because, and I suppose it goes even deeper than that, to the feeling that money brings, because it's not about money. We don't actually need money. We usually need food or housing or holidays or, whatever money, the feeling that money brings us. And usually if we boil it down and distill it, it's about security, that sense of security that we think money brings us. So that's been the biggest challenge, the most frightening. Pushing through the little fears almost every day of survival and trusting and having faith that keep doing what you love, keep being who you love to be, and it will be inspired how I will live. So that's still a challenge. And of course, money, our relationship with money is about our relationship with ourselves. So it's a beautiful, external, tangible way of seeing where we are still empty or where we are filling up. So abundance that we are is a beautiful way to see it in tangible dollars that are coming in, or it's a nice measure. It's a nice metaphysical, brings heaven on earth. Like it makes the physical form and the spiritual unseen, it kind of brings them together. And so money, it definitely makes me go, oh my goodness, I was so successful. But then I realized success was just something so different from what I ever thought it was. And success is here in my heart, and feeling peaceful and feeling self-love and peace inside. And so, money, I kind of let go. And as you let go, it starts to come in. And you go, wow, this is really great. Let's play with these dimensions, Yeah,
I love how you talk about success, because really in this day and age, with this society that we have, people think success is earning a lot of money, having a lot of materialistic things, whereas I'm more for success is the journey of living the best life you can possibly live.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it, to get to that
beautiful
point.
Thank you. Yes, that's perfectly, yeah.
What actually keeps you putting one foot in front of the other? Is it your life purpose?
Look, sometimes I don't know the answer to that question, Leanne, and I think that's what drives my passion. It's the paradox, because I don't know sometimes what keeps me putting one foot in front of the other, and whether I want to. There's some days that I'm not sure I even want to. I ask myself that question, like, why? And I think that that may sound very pessimistic. Everyone wants to know that once we've been through the challenges, it's always happy, and otherwise, why would we listen to you if you're not living, this fantastically, if you're not a Stepford wife, or whatever term we want to use for that perfection. So I think people say, oh, Themi, you're really heavy and you're really pessimistic, but that's what keeps me going. The fact that no matter what or how heavy something feels, we can actually find the silver lining and the treasure in it. And there's a reason for it, which usually is supporting our very purpose for being alive. And that's what keeps me going. It's the paradox of not knowing why I would want to put one foot in front of the other, and then in accepting that I don't know why today, I get why. It's that little bubble of anticipation that goes, well, let's find out why. Let's find out why today I've put one foot in front of the other and let it unfold rather than plan for it and then be disappointed and wonder why again,
Yeah.
So...
No, I love that. I love that sort of going with the
Thank
flow.
you. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. So with this new way of living and being over in Greece at the moment, what new possibilities have opened up for you?
Well, that's the interesting thing. See, it's been a challenge in Greece because a few doors that I thought were wide open actually slammed shut. So initially it's the shock. Oh, that didn't go according to plan. And I guess this ties into the previous question. I just realized there was something more, another bit to the previous question as well. I think love keeps me going and putting one foot in front of the other. It's that feeling of love inside that comes in glimpses when we first start to become aware that we can live differently and more happily, even in challenging times. So with all the doors closing, I found myself still happy. So it opened up doors inside. So I can't say, thousands of people have asked me to give them spiritual guidance or intuitive holding, or it's not that kind of external success story yet. Okay, it's coming, but the doors that have been opening are really deep inside, and so that keeps me going. It's like, wow, the more whole I feel, the more integrated I feel, and all these little puzzle pieces of my well-being start to slot in. It opens up an infinite world of doors and possibilities of what to anticipate in the actual tasting of the dreams. And love has a lot to do with that. I've gone through the journey of I'm fine alone, and I was and learnt to be and had to be, and then I'm at that point where, well, now surely there's a mutuality in relationships that I've never experienced, and an intimacy that I'm still wanting to dive into and now really experience with the me I am now. And that's in terms of work and working and connecting with people and serving humanity with my messages, and also in terms of a personal relationship. So that keeps me going. This isn't it now. I've just, all these little puzzle pieces have slotted into place, and I'm ready for experiencing something new and even deeper and more beautiful and more fun. And yeah.
Oh, it definitely sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So talking about exciting, what's the most exciting thing you're looking forward to in the future then?
Yeah, sexy relationship, a mutually delicious, intimate relationship. More than anything else, and it's been a long time coming for me to actually own that's what my heart desires and anticipates.
Yeah, how wonderful. All right, let's have a change in pace and do the speed round.
All right, the intuitive round, I call it.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book, there's a couple. There's one called Imagica and one called The Great and Secret Show, and they're Clive Barker books, and they're non-fiction. They're fiction. And I read them at a time before I was aware of my different dimensions, and they just really went boom. Sorry, quick round. Yep, go.
No, Who's a mentor figure that's helped you the most?
Okay, there's a few. My mentors at Integrative School of Studies in Australia, my mentor Ilana and Savas, they were probably my first major mentors. My therapist, of course, Joe Frasca, and Amir Zogi is my most recent mentor that just blew my mind and really created the contrast that I needed to push through. Yeah.
What daily ritual works best for you?
Breathing, connecting with my breath. It's been the most powerful.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
I just want to say, I know it's a speed round, but trauma creates shallow breathing.
Yes.
So the message in that is the deeper we breathe, the more we're alive, the more we're bringing back our lives.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
All right, what about a favourite food?
My favourite food, I love Chinese food, and I love a lot of other food. I love Greek cheese pies and lots of stuff, but Chinese food, and I just love it. I can always enjoy it. Yeah.
Excellent. What about country or the city?
Country or city? Look, my heart right now is in a little place called Loutraki in Greece. It's about 50 minutes away from Athens. It's a little seaside town, and I'm still, let's just say, attached. Okay, I'm not Buddha. I'm attached. It's my favorite little place in the world at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, nice. What's a piece of advice you could give to others to help them make change in their life?
Don't be so nice. I know it's biased. I'm biased. That's my advice to myself when I realize, but that's it. Like, don't be so nice. Break some rules. Stay true to you, not to everything external. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Be
that.
yourself.
I often say break free from those rules of society. Have a bit of fun sometimes.
Yeah. You don't break any rules. You don't have any fun. And that was me. Fun was a challenge. It took a long time to get an authentic smile from my heart. I was always a smiling person, but authenticity was the key. Yeah.
Okay, last question. If you had a time machine, what would you go back and do differently or tell your former self?
What would I tell that little girl and the corporate banking girl who sometimes I don't recognize? I go, well, my goodness, was that me? I'd tell them to speak the truth and speak up honestly, stay true, and just be yourself. You're valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, so true.
Valuable. Yeah. And this is why 1,000 Ripples is so meaningful, because everyone I've said, I got involved in a project that, Stacey's doing, 1,000 Ripples, they go, you're going to get paid for it. Like, are you going to finally get fame and success? And completely misses the beauty of 1,000 Ripples in a sense. So the message is to my younger selves who feel alone and are coping emotionally alone and, psychologically alone. So speak your truth,
Definitely, It's a beautiful project to be able to go back and think, well, what would I have liked to have been told at that age? So I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that Stacey Huish is doing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your valuable time today, Themi, and sharing your story. I really appreciate it and loved hearing it. Would you like to give us the best place to contact you, and we'll end it there?
At the moment, Themis Thomas on Facebook, ThemisThomas. That's it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Igniters, Themis is settling into her being rather than doing. She's been to hell and back, and love keeps her going. If you want to find out more about Themis, find her on Facebook. For living a life grounded and centred, balanced and full of adventure, visit my website leanneblaney.com.